Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Once again, we're going to be using Carnival LR Future Gohan. We tried him out against Shadow Dragon Sin. I will eventually try him out in Shadow Dragon Omega when that stage does drop on Global. But now we are officially doing a showcase video of him against Fusion Zamasu. Again, I know that time period's kind of already been and gone because how late your boy pulled him. This video is more for me. And I kind of also wanted an actual video representing how he performs against Fusion Zamasu on the channel, dedicated to him. So that's another reason why I'm doing this. Do you know what? This is probably going to be one of the only few times I do not use an item on this first phase, or at least while we're here in the very beginning. All the time, you're going to want to use a Whis here to make sure you just take as minimal amount of damage as possible. But with both Carnival or Future Gohans being here, I do not feel the need to do so. Yeah, he took 100k. That's fine. He's about to get 20% extra damage reduction because we hit the 18 key or more, which means right now with the entrance animation, he has 80% damage reduction. Along with a 50% defense raise on super. We've got one additional, so that's an extra 30. Can we get the second? We do, so that's an extra 30 on top of that. So that's 80% damage reduction in total with 110% defense raise, which immediately means double digits on basics. We're still going to lose a little bit of health. I mean, I probably still should have used the Whis, but this is how good Carnival or Future Gohan is, where you don't really need to use an item on this phase, whereas pretty much the majority of units you're going to bring here need it. You need the extra padding to make sure you, and that still kind of rings true right now, but so you manage to maintain as much HP as possible before you go into the second phase, because the majority of units you're bringing are going to need to build up. So they're at their weakest. 95% of units that I've used here, even though it's not very big, it's a handful of units, a decent amount of units, they need to build up. Which, with how hard Zamasu's hitting in the very beginning, I mean, we've seen that preemptively with Sin from the Shadow Dragon event, but with Zamasu hitting even harder on basics and super and having that AoE immediately that does 500k, no unit kind of has breathing room here. By the way, that Gohan I think has 2 dupes. This shouldn't do that much. Yeah, even mine at 55% I think tanks that pretty well, which is crazy because not many units in the game can do that to Fusion Zamasu. Carnival LR Future Gohan is the only unit in the game that can make Fusion Zamasu look like a bit of a pushover. Literally one of the only ones to be able to do that without needing to wait for him to get going or wait for him to build up. Future Gohan does that as soon as you start. So if Fusion Zamasu starts, he's on smoke. But so is Carnival LR Future Gohan. We just need to hope that LR Trunks and Mai are feeling like dodge him. So we do have the Whis active, but we do have 378k HP. As I said, we kind of just need LR Trunks and Mai dodge. That's why they're here. And type advantage in the last phase, but I mainly just need them to dodge. This is going to do 100, just under 200k, just over 100, I think. It's been a little bit since I've used these here. Yeah, 175. At least the super's out the way. I think we do survive this turn. It would have been nice if he let Trunks and Vegeta build up a little bit more. This is what I mean. Majority of units in the game, they need some time to build up. And with how relentless Zamasu is on this first phase in kind of not letting you or not wanting you to do that, it can open you up to a ton of damage. As I said, there aren't many... Fantastic. There aren't many occasions, hardly any, where you're not using at least one of your Whis on this first phase. Hardly at all. Even with units having dupes. Don't get me wrong, that first turn with both Carnival or Future Gohans being there, I could have got away without using one. But because mine's at 55%, we took a bit more damage. Even then, we could have saved ourselves a ton of HP in using a Whis. But that is probably as good as it's going to get. It really is. That's probably as good as it's going to get in terms of how much damage you take without actually dying with no item active. One good thing is the Whis is still active now. We actually got a 24 key, which means we've got a guaranteed additional, so our key is 20 or more, and we actually are going to have a guaranteed crit as well, which is great. Like, in my eyes, I generally believe Carnival LR Future Gohan with... Damn, already. I mean, this shouldn't do anything, because we have 40% from entrance animation, 20% damage reduction, and a Whis. Yeah, I said this during the Shadow Dragon Sin video. If you use a Whis with Carnival LR Future Gohan, he's pretty much indestructible. You don't hurt him. So that's before we even got the 20% damage reduction for having our key at 18 or more, which of course will only become active once we super. But that's 40% damage reduction with the 20, that's 60, and an extra 40 from the Whis. That's 100% damage reduction, no matter what. Any super in the game, even if we're talking like 2.5 mil, it's not hurting Gohan with an item active. You just don't hurt him with a Whis active. But I generally do believe this Carnival LR Future Gohan was kind of built for this, like perfectly built for this, because he stacks, right? Again, units that need to build up in the beginning, they're very fragile. Like, it's not a good place for them, right? Gohan doesn't need to build up. Like, he needs to build up in terms of he has build up in his passive. He actually doesn't need the extra key +5 and 100% attack and defense you're getting. You literally saw it there, especially with a Whis active. But he can build up. The good thing is, because of the guaranteed additional from when your key is 20 or more, and the 50% chance of an additional super when your key is 18 or more, he has 2 built-in additionals, which means he can build up that part of his passive even quicker. So you may attack 3 times in one turn, off of one turn alone, before you factor in dupes, which of course I won't because mine doesn't have any. I'm going to use an item here though, just because Vegeta and Trunks, and then this guy still needs to build up a little bit. Do you know what? For now, I'm actually going to leave it like this. But because of that, he's able to build up that part of his passive so quickly that it kind of plays into the favor and works really well with the fact that Zamasu is so extremely short and so extremely difficult that he's perfectly built for that. Not to mention, instead of stacking by just 20 or 30%, no, you're stacking by 100%. So you're making up that damage quickly. You're making up that offense he needs to build up quickly. Then with the 2 built-in additionals, he's also stacking on 12 key. Again, not by 20 or 30%, by 50. And you can potentially do it twice before you have dupes. So you could see Future Gohan stack in one turn alone if the 50% chance of an additional pops and you get your key to 20 or more. That's 2 guaranteed stacks of 100% and 50%. If the 50% chance one pops, that's another 50. That's 200% stacked in one turn. So even though this man needs to stack in order to do big damage, he has the numbers on his SA effect to the point where he stacks up his attack so quickly that it doesn't even matter. It's kind of like Tech Transform in Trunks once he transforms into SSJ, where he has so many outlets to additional super that once you get past that awkward phase, which Future Gohan doesn't have because all his damage reduction from his entrance animation to the 20% built in, and then the 20% he gets on 18 key or more, along with, if you want to include the defensive raises he gets on SA effects as well, but mainly the damage reduction, it's kind of like that. Except Future Gohan doesn't have like a techie phase where he can get caught for tons and tons of damage. He might take like 100k as we've seen against Fusion Zamasu, but nothing where he's going to get you killed, almost killed, one shot, whereas Trunks has that. But Trunks stacks so quickly that he gets going incredibly quickly, which is my point. Future Gohan also has that, but he doesn't have any techie moments. Taking 100k against one of the hardest, if not the hardest enemy in the game is nothing. And right now we have his domain, which is perfect. I mean, it's perfect for every difficult content because, again, extreme class enemies and allies. We do have AJ Zamasu here, but it's fine. Extreme class enemies are taking 30% extra damage. What is Zamasu? What is the hardest enemy in the game right now? Oh, an extreme class enemy. Future Gohan also has type advantage. He also quickly stacks, which means he's doing a ton of damage to Fusion Zamasu in such short amount of time. Because if you look at it right now, right, we are 3 and a bit health bars down on Fusion Zamasu's last phase. That's how short this is, right? And we've already got the domain, which is great. We want it. And Gohan's already doing a ton of damage. Now, we are going to pop this just to pop it. Like, as I said, he's so perfectly constructed for this stage. It makes him, to me, the best unit in the game. Along with everything else that I've mentioned, such as team building, his 200% lead, all the buffs his team got from easy A's to new units, how easy it is to link him, how good he is offensively, defensively, even the inner mechanics that works in his passive help him in content like this. Even if there's long form content, even if one day, like we've all said it so many times, oh, if Dokkan drops long content, this unit will be good, like Goku Black, for example. If they drop long form content, Gohan is still going to be amazingly good. Yes, you miss out on his entrance animation buff, right? Which is fine. It's fine. Like, sure, it'd be nice to have all that damage reduction at all times. But you could just slide him into slot 2, because then Vegeta and Trunks are even more viable, because they got more time to stack. But in general, he's still fine, because he's still going to have 20% damage reduction, the extra 20, as long as your key's 18 or more. And then he's going to have more time to stack his attack, which means he's doing even more damage. But he's so perfectly built for, like, the direction we're going in with difficult content, that he is literally Zamasu's kryptonite. He, as I said, he is the reason why I actually beat this event originally. I didn't get close. Actually, I got fairly close, but I didn't beat this until I pulled him. That's how good he is, even at 55%. Like, he doesn't need dupes in the slightest. Of course, getting them is great, but he doesn't need them. And then the type advantage is just the icing on top of the cake, like, for him to do some extra damage and tank even better. Not that he needed to do it. But just think about it right now, right? We're on turn 5. This is his final turn of the entrance animation buff of key plus 5, 40% damage reduction. His domain's active, he's doing more damage. We then got his active skill, because of course that you can get his active skill once you get his domain, which I'd absolutely love, because it means you're doing even more damage on the active skill once he's been stacking for a bit, which of course all the extra additionals are helping him do. But along with him, especially, and other units on the team, as again, another one, Carnival LR Chunks being another one in terms of damage dealers, we have done so much damage, again, mainly because of him and LR Future and LR Chunks as well, but mainly because of him, that he's about to lose his entrance animation buff, where he gets slightly weaker defensively, which isn't that much of an impact to him, but the main point is he's about to lose it. Because of how good he is, and how good his team is, and how much damage you can do, we are about to lose his buff there. But we beat the event. We've beat the event. Like, Zamasu is such extreme short form content. You're getting to turn 6 max, which means you may only see this guy without his full blown damage reduction, how good he can be for one turn, which is fine, by the way. He's still good enough, especially because of the type advantage against Zamasu. But you're typically ending it on turn 5, because that's when he's been super attacking the entire time, stacking, building up his passive, which is quick to do so. You've got LR Trunks doing the damage he does along with everyone else. And then there's crits and additionals along the way if you want to factor those in, potentially sometimes as well. He has type advantage against Fusion Zamasu's second phase, so he's doing even more damage. As soon as you hit turn 5, you have the final turn of that entrance buff. You're about to lose it the turn afterwards. But then you get his domain, you get his active skill. You've hit a guaranteed crit, you've done more damage to Zamasu. Everyone else is doing more damage to Zamasu. Trunks has also got his standby. He's getting an extra additional in there, or guaranteed one in there. So he is so perfectly built as like the counterpart, the kryptonite to Fusion Zamasu. You're never going to see this guy without him being fully at his best. Currently against one of the hardest enemies in the game, especially if this is the route Dokkan continue to go down of really short, hard content. Because even then, turn 6, Gohan doesn't come back until turn 7. And then the friend Future Gohan still has his entrance animation buff. Actually, no, he might have lost it. But even then, he doesn't appear until turn 7, which even if we didn't do enough damage there, we would have finished it the next turn before he comes back. So he was literally like perfectly made for Red Sun Fusion Zamasu. He is his kryptonite. He is that good. It feels good to officially have like a video dedicated to him being showcased in Fusion Zamasu. He generally is probably my favorite unit or best unit in the game right now to me. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care for the rest of your day. We're going to become thick and fast with more Shadow Dragon event videos, more Fusion Zamasu videos, level 10 link videos, all that good stuff. If you want to suggest any units to take into Zamasu, Shadow Dragon Sin, do let me know. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care for the rest of your day. And peace.